I can move out some. Can't I? Oh gosh. Let's move out to right there. That's pretty good. Okay. We're gonna get this going here. Get my monitor up on here. Like a lot of fry in the sound, huh? Oh. It's because I made a feedback loop. Okay. Now I have a monitor set up now. I have that muted. We're going to mute it here now. Now I can turn my regular sound back on.
That's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? iPhone.
Oh.
You know that one?
Architect Fuel.
Oh, Apple, where iPhone. Oh, Elon, where. Yeah, that's really. That's a good way to kick off the show, I gotta say. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think. We gotta start off strong. You know,
Alright. Let's do a little planning here
I guess that just goes in the fucking
for what we're gonna do with the drawing.
The bin? Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it all goes in the bin. In the bin. You've been hanging out with your fucking whiny. You've been hanging out. You told me you were gonna become British this year. Yeah, well, that's up to Robert Johnson, because if you think that just because I have been college.
This is sad. Very sad only.
Okay, I'm sorry. Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
They did not need to die.
So they attacked me. How am I the bad guy?
Your fault. Like a baby making noise, don't know what to do.
Okay, friends, we are back. And
I don't have a crossing section yet, but I can get one here.
last one, Matt Felix and I sketched out. And in that episode, our most
Let's
recent
go ahead and
episode,
get that
the one
upper
from
floor window
I
detail.
envisioned a scenario. I charted a course out of our sort of malaise.
We're gonna
despair,
project it over right
darkness,
here
losing an ache,
and set that
the
out
fading
real quick.
empire, choking out its last breath, with everyone inside, wondering when COVID is ever going to end, and if we're ever going to have anything better. And part of that, the roadmap that I sketched out here, depends on analyzing a post-colonial text. A post-colonial text that, previously we have asked on this
Come
show,
on.
and others asked it. What if Yoda was 6 feet tall and he smoked weed? What we will do for you today is posit the question, what if Yoda was 10 feet tall and interested in, instead of smoking weed, turning the arms, weapons, and technology of the Imperial Death State against itself in an act of revolutionary violence and oneness with the world and the environment and the world trade. I'm talking, of course, about Avatar. And, we talked about it last week, and we were so moved by it that Matt Felix and I had to go back and rewatch Avatar and share that experience with you, because I do believe, like, like the words of Frantz Fanon, it does create, from movie magic, a popular, up until very recently, the highest grossing movie of all time, of which the point is basically that to become a real human being, you have to lay down your life in revolutionary violence against the state. So, to that end, we bring you Avatar, directed by James Cameron of the Dipset crew.
Yeah, this is a movie I've talked about for a very long time. That every time I talk about it, people always go, "I don't get this bit." Yeah, the blue guys were funny. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And I think Matt and Will were kind of kidding.
Yes, I was.
Before this, they were like, "Oh yeah, the blue guys." I don't think they really knew if I liked it or not. But after this viewing, I have successfully Avatar killed them.
Absolutely. I am blue pill.
We've
I
been
am
Pandora
yeah,
filled.
yeah.
blue man now.
Yeah, I just want to, so, Avatar, it has a strange cultural place, right? Because it made, how much did it make in theatrical release?
I have this in front of me right here. Hold on a second. It earned $3,537,000,000 domestically.
A record that was only beaten by its disgusting Tulpa, Marvel Adventures Infinity War. And
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, I fucked that up.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no. Sorry, it grossed over $2 billion worldwide.
Right, still amazing.
$700 million in the U.S. and Canada.
Right. So this was a record that was only beaten by The Avengers. And what's weird about this movie is it didn't have the cultural purchase of The Avengers. Like, there's going to be no... You notice... I was thinking about Jamie Harrison. You know Jamie Harrison, the guy who ate shit with Lindsey Graham?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I was
yeah.
thinking about how in his Twitter bio he says, fan of Marvel. No Democrat, and I thought all about the Democrats who were like, oh, we're like the Avengers, or even like Dan Crenshaw who loves the Avengers shit. It's just story monoculture bullshit. It's the safe thing to like. No one ever did that with Avatar. You know what they did do with Avatar? People's middle-aged fathers wanted to kill themselves to be alive in Nabi. People started questioning Empire. I remember my brother posted about this, posting about Avatar literally all weekend. That my mom and dad called him on the phone. You know, he is like an adult with a job. They called him in like 2010 and were like, "You have to see Avatar." And my mom, who was like, I think, like in her late 50s at the time, was like, it's about capitalism, imperialism, them, and then my dad just shouted in the background, "It's about love." It did have an amazing effect on people. It did have an amazing effect on people, but the media consciously did not want it to be memeified. And it couldn't be memeified.
It could
because
be,
you-
yeah. You couldn't process, like, people like to point that out about Avatar. Oh, it had no cultural, long-lasting impact. Well, what is the actual cultural, long-lasting impact of other big movies like The Revengers? It's memes. It's
Yep.
easily digested little pellets of, like, things that replace your personality. The stuff in Avatar is memorable. It's not like, it's not guys in suits who do quips and do bants that you can repeat to your friends, because Jake Sully is, as we'll talk about, sort of an intentional empty space in the middle of the movie. With the stuff that, like, is resonant, it can't be translated culturally. And so it just has to go away. Everyone saw it, and everybody fucking loved it when they were watching it, and they're lying if they say they didn't, because it didn't make that much movie. It didn't make that much money. A total new, not a licensed IP thing. Nobody saw, everybody seen that movie, and was like, that sucks. It's just that over time, as they, thought about it, and nothing could stick, because there was nothing in the culture to, like, pick it up and turn it.
Yeah, and you can't see Avatar and love it and cry. Like I did watching it again. I cried during parts of it. I never cried during movies or anything. I've cried twice in my life. Once when I was born, and the other time when watching Avatar. You can't do that and then go on with your life. You have to make a choice. You're like, do I love Avatar and the message of Avatar and the world of Avatar? And as we'll get into later, the world of Avatar is just love.
Yeah.
We can live in Pandora. But, and then go, Obama's epic. Obama, who's not pulling out of the Pandora district of Afghanistan. Can you, like a Marvel, even, Avengers, for all their liberal peons, they're so Ken Doll-esque, so shaved down, so smooth, that even full-on reactionary like Dan Crenshaw. But
Yeah.
you can't do that with Avatar. You can't be like, I love Avatar and I want Tom Cotton to be president. No. But both sides of the evil of Empire are represented as the bad guys in Empire in Avatar.
Yeah, I saw something today on Twitter that said that Chris Evans' portrayal as Captain America probably did more to rehabilitate the idea of America as a good place in the world than anything else that's happened in like subsequent time period. And you know what? There's probably some truth to that.
But the guy who said that, I think that's a good thing. He thinks that's a good
That's a
thing.
good thing. He thinks that's a good thing. And the message of Avatar is like unlike the adventure, like this idea that good people come together to fight on behalf of like the values that we as Americans hold dear to our hearts. The message of Avatar is that if you are a good person, you need to come together and destroy America and literally lay down your life, like in a violent revolutionary struggle against the American state.
Avatar is telling you have to be Chelsea Manning. Like if you
You have to betray your country.
You can't be a cog in the machine and feel bad about it, and that's enough.
You can't be Martin Freeman, the soy CIA man from Black Panther.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And you know what? I remember when Avatar first came out, and it was phenomenally successful at the box office. We said up until Adventures, it was the highest-grossing movie of all time. But I did remember when it came out, like certain conservative critics were very angry at the movie because they were like, "Oh, I was looking forward to Avatar," but then at the end, I couldn't believe that Hollywood has gotten to the point of anti-Americanism in which they would presume that the audience would be cheering to have these stand-ins for American GIs be annihilated in combat.
I was there. They did. They did. People were standing up in the theater. People were standing up in the theater and rooting for the Viet Cong.
Yes.
In Chicago, in cathedrals all over the fucking country, they were doing that.
And you're right. When I first saw this movie, I thought it sucked. and I thought it was kind of an embarrassment. Like to look back on, I thought, and then I sort of ironically liked it, and then I was like, yeah, there's something good about it. But yes, Felix, and James Cameron, this entire sort of canon of movies, which this very, very like fits into, and has convinced me that this movie is not just good, but maybe a masterpiece. Because like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is just Dances with Wolves. This is just a remake of Dances with Wolves or Pocahontas or something. Like we've seen this story. Oh, like the white guy has a romance with he falls in love with a woman from a different culture, and then like he sort of adopts it as his own. But I don't think that's really. I mean, that does happen in Avatar, but that's not really what's going on, in my opinion.
No, absolutely.
It's completely different. It's completely different from Hollywood white savior movies about Native Americans, which, by the way, those movies, the point of those movies is they were made during America's ascension as the sole superpower, but in a new American liberal culture. And that is to say that those movies were, no, we're the only superpower. We deserve to be. We deserve everything we have. But we did some bad stuff, and all you have to do is feel bad about it for 2 hours with the air and then go on this life. You're a good person.
Yeah.
And we'll throw in a bonus. We're gonna make one of the good guys one of you. We're gonna make him one of your fucking Scots-Irish idiot ancestors. and he's not actually a white savior because he doesn't. The course he doesn't save anything. Avatar is about a white savior, but it's totally different. It's totally different because Jake Sully, the hero of Avatar, he's a nothing. He's a nobody. He's a cipher. And people criticize the performance by Joel Edgerton.
What do you know? It's Sam Worthington. That's how much of a cipher is.
Yeah.
Confuse him with yet another stock Australian guy, like a tough guy movie actor.
Exactly, though. But that's like why it's brilliant. It's like, no, he would have to be someone who was on the surplus benefiting side of Earth.
Yep.
But is still so alienated and literally chewed up and spit out, has lost his brother, lost his ability to protect him, has lost his legs, his body, yes. And is so anything hero action because you can be given all the surplus, literally surplus from space, surplus from the heavens.
Yes.
And you can be nothing. Because it's not meant for you.
Yeah.
It's meant for the guy who owns the company, processes the surplus. And he doesn't just, he's not a white savior who, like, he's better at being indigenous than
No.
people. No, that's not the point. The point is, he gives them the only thing that he can give, which is knowledge of how the empire works. That's what that's actual solidarity. He actually helps them in the only way he can. And what's more, he completely sacrifices who he was to the empire. He doesn't go back. He can't go back.
I mean, and that's the other reason he's not a fucking white savior. He's not white. By the time he does the savioring, he's literally one of them. Actually, like you talk about, he's a 7-foot, he's a 12-foot tall blue man. He is. That's it. He's with them. He is as abject and as
He is part of the people. He is one of the Omaticaya.
Exactly.
Because he gave himself up.
Because he gave his life up, literally. He gave his body. His body withers away at the end of the movie. His body goes away. There is no more Jake Sully anymore.
He's a Navi now. And like, people get like wild about that because like, oh yeah, you're letting off, white people. You're letting off, draws there's no really good because you wanted you by the end of the movie are rooting for the fucking Navi and you find anything cathartic about that moment at the end where he literally wakes up as a Navi, a full one for the first time. You have to do that by having fully emotionally divorced yourself. Not ironically, not through the gauze of history, but through the actuality of the American Empire.
Alright, so let's get into the movie itself. I mean, we referred to some of the elements of it, but I think by sussing out the details. I think if perhaps you're rolling your eyes at the case you're making here, I think describing the film itself and some of the parts in it will hopefully begin to clarify where we're coming from here. So the movie begins in I believe it is the year 2154. It is in a future in which we have discovered a resource-rich, densely forested moon of a gas giant planet in the Alpha Centauri system, and that we have been, because we have depleted all of Earth's natural resources, we have begun to mine this this sort of Eden-like planet for a rare earth mineral, or technically rare Pandora mineral, called unobtainium, that is now like oil, like petroleum on Earth, is like the sort of engine of our global economy. Like this is our new like sort of extractive form of capitalism. And the main character, Jake Sully, played by Sam Worthington, is a former Marine who has been paralyzed in combat. He's paraplegic. Paralyzed, by the way, and the movie makes clear, in a campaign fought in Venezuela.
Yep.
So once again, Cameron is telling you here, this is the future, America.
Yeah.
This is where we're going.
You got to march over the whole surface of the world to physically secure its resources as they dwindle. And the end of that is not some fixing or getting it to anything new. It's, oh shit, we've got to find another planet.
Yeah, we literally have to find another Earth to rape and pillage to keep, our home planet, to keep the system of capitalism going on our home planet.
Yeah. You guys see that like viral news story a couple weeks ago where it's like, there's a comet worth $70 trillion zillion in the Milky Way or whatever. It's like, boy, if we could just get our hands on that, baby, our problems will be over.
Yeah, so like, and it is strongly implied as well that the Earth of 2154 is a husk.
Yeah.
That there are no more trees. There is no more nature on our planet because we've destroyed it all through the process of, extraction, capitalism, and exploitation. So you just have to find a new Eden and the unobtainium there and take it. But the problem is, the planet is habited by a humanoid species called the Na'vi. But the thing is, the atmosphere of Pandora is toxic to human beings. You can't breathe it. You need it either inside in the sort of a mining town and military base facilities that we build as sort of beachheads to go out and mine this stuff. But we have to you have to wear masks if you're out in the air of Pandora. So the solution to that problem is that the company, in conjunction with advanced scientists and academics, have created a way to clone the bodies of the Na'vi and create a sort of keyed to an individual's specific genetic code, a Na'vi match for them, through which, through the magic of technology and science, you can sort of project your brain and consciousness into, and have, you're now inhabiting the body of one of these 10 feet tall Na'vi people, but crucially, you have free reign now to walk and exist in the space of Pandora, right? And so there's this uneasy alliance here between a military corporation, a private corporation that is also an arm of the United States military, and they use their own Marines as basically private security forces to help the securing of this mineral from this planet and fight any natives, any of the Na'vi people who would wish them to stop strip mining their planet. And the crucial thing here with Jake Sully is that he was never meant to travel to Pandora. He only goes to Pandora because his identical twin brother was he was the egghead. He was the nerd. He was the guy who had spent his whole life training for this and studying Na'vi and preparing to inhabit his avatar on Pandora. he is randomly killed in some sort of like street mugging or something like that. And because it is his identical brother, he has the same genetic code. And like, they've probably spent $1 trillion creating this fucking avatar body for him. And they're like, well, we're not just gonna let it go to waste. He's a suitable candidate. Why don't you go? Like, what are you doing here on Earth? He's in his wheelchair and his brother's dead. There's not a lot going on for him. So put him on the spaceship, put him in cryosleep, 6.5-year trip out to Alpha Centauri, and then he wakes up. He wakes up from this 6-year dream and is now in a completely different world. He gets off the shuttle. He rolls out there. Initially, I mean, he meets the head of the Avatar program on Pandora is played by Sigourney Weaver. She is Dr. Grace Augustine, and she is kind of pissed that she has to deal with the right guy's idiot brother. She views as just a grunt and a moron. But like, she has to do it because he's the only one that can inhabit this body that, like I said, they've probably spent $1 trillion cloning and growing in a vat. And like the Vincent's point earlier in the movie, earlier in the episode here, Sam Worthington. I'll say that again, Sam Worthington. see if that pings anything in your brain.
I'm sorry, no.
Oh, good lord.
Sam
Dogs.
Worthington.
Jack Works, what? I'm sorry.
Who is just about like he's sort of like the beginning of the character select screen before you add any attributes.
Yeah.
Like that is Sam Worthington as an actor.
He's the default protagonist for the
And the thing is, like, he's not a terrible. He's not a terrible actor. It's not like the performance is like really grating. It's just he doesn't have any like personality or charisma or like really anything about him that like connects with you or feels memorable or just like again, who the fuck is Sam Worthington? Why this guy? And that always pissed me off about the movie. I was like, who is this fucking Zero? I mean, like, E2 had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. You know what I mean? Aliens had fucking Bill Paxton, Michael Bain, Paul Reiser, Sigourney Weaver. They're these great characters that you remember and you root for and you want to be like them. But I think it was pointed out to me that because Sam Worthington and his character Jake Sully is such a cipher, I think that is actually intentional on Cameron's part. In that, like you said, like he is a nobody. Like he is the type of person that America produces.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's in opposition to the protagonist in the Marvel movies, where he's literally a superhero, but he sounds like me. He makes the same references and has the same cultural palette as me. All of the stuff that just the shit that like I picked up while rolling through life, like a fucking like a hot dog going under the refrigerator. It's being reflected back to me literally out of the mouth of a fucking man god. And so it's like it gives you this idea. Those movies get like culturally sticky and get memeable because they're telling the audience, "Hey, look at you." Whereas Cameron's like, "Yeah, this is you, dude. This is you."
Yeah, you're boring. Like
Yeah.
you don't have quips. You don't have bends. You don't even have powers.
Yeah, you're just a guy who fucking got blown up fighting for his country, and even though, and he says this in the first intro voiceover, even though the technology exists to cure paralysis, he cannot get it.
Because it's too expensive.
Yes.
No, that is a very interesting and telling detail. Is that Cameron does not miss a beat. Like he's like, you might think, over a century in the future when we've mastered intergalactic travel and terraforming of other planets and shit, we can't cure a spinal injury.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we can, but only rich people can.
Yeah.
No, that's what I love. I saw someone the other day point out how it was Yasha Levine, how science fiction writers, in their depictions of the future, they do not depict poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like we lose the will to do that even amongst we lose the will for brutal surplus and misery, even if it's other evil traits. And he pointed out that Philip K. Dick was one of the only writers who would detail that, who would
That's true.
detail brutal class oppression, even in a future with inconceivable technological advancements. And what I love about, I think the Jake Sully spinal repair surgery problem is he repeatedly does this, where Cameron's vision of this future is, no, there's going to be untold technological advancement, but it's still this world.
Yeah.
It's still America. And there's something with the design of the mech that we're going to get into later that perfectly signifies this.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the dream, like, what the lie we kind of tell ourselves in science fiction, if it's not, like intentionally kind of challengingly transformative, sort of like Star Trek, where you just like, no, this isn't our
Yeah, no,
society.
this is a post-scarcity
Our
society.
society grew up.
Yeah, like the
and
point of
our
Star Trek
is this suburb.
Yeah, like the point of Star Trek is that like all the technology, like faster than light travel, replicators, teleportation, or whatever, are features of the fact that humanity our human society is like advanced not just beyond the American nation.
Oh, I should have put that on
but,
real line.
Yeah, like a post-scarcity utopia
Derp.
in which, because there is a scarcity, and like the surplus.
Let's see how close we got.
created
That's
by
gonna be hard.
technology is like easily
It don't matter.
distributed.
Yeah.
So we are capable to use that technology to explore the galaxy and like
So I
the
thought,
not
yeah, 6
expense
foot
of,
center off the
it's
wall.
like the Earth and Star
So the
Trek,
real
which is like
point
an endless
would
like
be-
shanty town.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. No, if they, it's like, oh, we were able to distribute,
Right there.
resources across the planet equitably, and now, hey, let's see what's up then.
And again, like I said, what's interesting about Avatar is that like we are exploring space. We're doing probably like one of the most profound things human beings can do: discover life on another planet, walk on that planet, live on that planet. We are only doing it to just
Yeah, let's fill the
continue
floor in.
the merciless death drive of capitalist accumulation.
Yep, and that's because, like I said, was saying, or they're trying to get, I forgot, the
Why
lie
is
of
this-
science fiction that isn't exclusively utopian like Star Trek is that technological innovation by itself will lead to some sort of phase shift in human
Yes.
civilization. And Cameron is pointing out, we've had 200 years of technological innovation. Things change, but the basic structure has only intensified a process of extraction.
Yeah, man, I see a lot of that shit on Globe Twitter.
Yes.
It's like they all think like oh like yeah there's a lot of problems and like oh like maybe America isn't perfect, but you know what, with our innovation and like innate creativity, like there will be technological advancements that will just kind of solve these problems. The cotton gin will surely end slavery.
Yep. Like apparently we have the technology to have like basically every potentially pandemic virus have like early R&D prepared so that if one emerged we could have a fucking vaccine in like 3 months. But there's no money for someone else to make there other than the money you're paying scientists to not die. So
Yeah, no, I will Murray Abraham and Eastside Llewyn Davis. I will make
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a lot of money here.
I will make it less abstract. We have a million plus group of able-bodied young adults who could safely provide
Sightline.
food and water
Right in the
and
middle,
every
Martin.
necessity
That's
for
pretty
people
good.
during a lockdown.
I like
And
it.
more than have the funding to do that. That exists. We have been tasking them during this pandemic with driving multi-billion-dollar obsolete technology around the South China Sea and getting lost.
Or having rocks thrown at them in year 25 of the war in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
and we have the technology, like you're talking. I mean, we have the people. We also have the technology in the form of stuff like the basic algorithms to power things like delivery services. But those only exist to lose money for giant speculative fucking venture capital firms that are pretending that they're going to build a fucking driverless cars or whatever, and are literally just pouring money down a giant toilet that ends with them getting a giant glass cube home to live in suspended animation forever.
Okay, so I mean, now we bring up another character that's important to me. The villain of the movie is Colonel Miles Quatrick, played by Stephen Lang.
in the movie is actually like very good, memorable performance. It is a very good villain character, and he is the portrayal of colonial, like imperial military management and violence. And like he is a former jarhead, just like Jake Sully, who is now in charge of security for this private corporation. And security means he is there to manage and suppress the native peoples of Pandora. And he's just sort of a swaggering, like Scarface, like hard bitten. Uh, he is someone who is hardened by the frontier, and he gives this spiel to all the people when they first arrive on Pandora, where he's like, make no mistake, everything outside that wall wants to kill you, and it's my job to keep you alive. I will not succeed. Look to your right. Look to your left. One of those people is going to be dead in the next 6 months.
Dental school is very difficult. I expect a third of you to watch out.
A lot of people like to get. A lot of people like when they're trying to make fun of avatars. They will point out the first thing he says is, "You're not in Kansas anymore," and they roll their eyes. That's fucking cliche. What do you think this asshole says to those guys?
That's how those assholes talk. That's how every fucking jarhead that goes out to start a racist coffee company, they're all like that. Like the tagline to all their coffee is like, "This is a gay dad's coffee. It has pork in it, so Muslims can't drink it." How about that?
In the coffee commercial when they're firing a minigun at a bag of Starbucks coffee, they'll just say shit like, "Say hello to my little friend." That's how their brains work. So eventually, Jake Sully gets to port into his avatar body. And the first thing he does is the scientists are like, no, you have to lie down. Your vitals are spiking or whatever. And he just feels his toes move, and he runs out of the building because he's experiencing for the first time in a long time mobility. He experiences this ecstatic joy of being in control of not just his body again, but this perfect angelic 10 feet tall, like an angel, basically.
Yeah, he's reborn. Like he has capacities that Earth. Remember this. Capacities that the Earth Society is preventing him from using. Like they took his legs by sending him to get blown up in Nigeria or whatever. By the way, all the countries they talk about them fighting in are ones where there's oil.
Yes, no. Patrick says he fought in several campaigns in Nigeria, and Jake Sully was a recon marine in the Venezuela campaign.
And then it's like, well, all right, we got us that oil. We have a society that can cure spinal injuries. Good job getting us that oil. What about my spine? Whose phone? Who's this?
Jake Sully, we're going to do an awareness-raising concert about Marines who lost their spines in Venezuela with the Modest Yahoo hologram. Good luck, bro.
Okay, now there's another important facet of this. I said in the sort of corporate, military, colonial, imperial management of this mining project, there's sort of two nodes of it. There's Clark Trent and his sort of private security, and that's the thing, they're not just private security. They are the official armed forces of the United States or global government at the time, but they are just contracting directly for a private corporation. They're not just mercenaries. They are soldiers acting as mercenaries on behalf of the private company, but they are still technically in uniform. But the other half of that are the scientists. Sigourney Weaver's character, and there's another guy who has been sent to Pandora, and he has his own avatar body waiting for him. And he's one of these nerds. He's a nerd who's been waiting for this his whole life. He went to school for this. He studied 5 years to learn the language. And
these are the PMC.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And the scientists think that they're different than the brutal imperial machine who is funding all of their research. And they look at all they look at all of this like a perfect and wonderful opportunity to pursue their research, like as they see it. They don't see themselves as part of the same apparatus as these military assholes that they have to work under. And then like I guess like the head of the whole operation is played by Giovanni Ribisi, and like he's sort of he's the corporate dickhead. He's the Paul Reiser character.
Yeah. But what, like,
Yeah.
if he was, like, but he is the shot caller on the face. Yeah. From the corporate.
Yeah, like Flatridge is technically under his
Yeah.
command, right? And it's very telling that the first scene you see with Giovanni Ribisi, he's in like the ops center, he's in his command office or whatever. And what is he doing? He's fucking he's playing golf. Yeah, it's the year 2154. He's on an alien planet. And what is he doing? He's practicing his fucking putt.
He's on an alien planet with sights and flora and fauna more beautiful and that the human mind can barely even process. Like just heavenly beauties. And he's like, when I get back to Earth, they're gonna wonder how my putt got so good. It's perfect. The PMCs are so perfect, but the range of the pitches is so big. Because Giovanni Ribisi, he's sort of like the McKinsey guy. He's like, hey, all right, silly season's over. Stop fucking around with blue bullshit. We gotta get the bottom line going. But Sigourney Weaver plays like sort of a Samantha Powers.
Yes, and in both her avatar body and her human body, she wears Stanford t-shirts.
And
Yeah.
red hair.
It's so that is not unintentional. That is not unintentional. But it's like what's so great about it is like the PMCs who like think that they're better than the Marines or Giovanni Ribisi because they have an appreciation for this culture that they are just as well raping and pillaging, just sticking their fingers in the open sores of this beautiful planet. They think they're better because they think when they go home they're gonna like introduce Navi words in the conversation and tell people the blue guys aren't all terrorists.
Yeah.
And here's the most important part though. They think they're different than like the brutal military exploitation. But the thing is, they and their research projects and their avatar program are the single most effective means of oppressing and exploiting
Yep.
the Navi people.
They're USA
Planet of Pandora.
Yep. Yes. Because they set it up like, we want to get this unobtainium. These blue people are here. They're not tech enough to stop us from taking it, really. But
They're good enough to fucking kill us real easy if they want to.
Exactly. And so it's like, the best way to do this, the lowest cost way to do this is to get some fucking nerds in here who read some books about these assholes and try to talk to them. And then make them into the blue people themselves.
And then what do?
That's
Offer
part
them
of it.
roads, offer
Yep.
them education.
Everyone knows English in the Navi country, in the village because they got taught by Sigourney Weaver. Like, okay, why are you doing this? It's not for the benefit of the Navi. They did not need anything. What you need is to feel good about the fact that you're destroying their fucking planet. And that's what everybody back home on Earth has to feel like too.
So, I mean, it gets going when like, okay, so Big Sully is Avatar body. Like eventually, like he goes out into the bush, he goes out into the vast, like the even like forests of this planet, and you know and he's essentially there as sort of a bodyguard for Sigourney Weaver and the other nerds
Oh,
that
yeah.
are Avatar bodies. And you know they're walking around out there, and he has a gun. He's got a big ass gun as a Navi person. And you know he's walking around out there and taking in the sights. It's all pretty cool. They got, oh wow, here's a mushroom that's 10 feet in diameter. Here's plants that glow when you touch them. You know, here's a tree that's as tall as the Empire State Building. He's walking around out there, and then eventually, because he's a dumbass and he doesn't know or respect the environment, then he has a run-in with a creature I believe on film they call a Thanator, which is basically like a sort of I don't know. Imagine a tiger covered in like bullet